Thank you for joining our webinar. The webinar will be started at 2 p.m., so we still have 2 minutes for other attendees to join us. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in the ACE webinar series, which is titled Nuclear Coming or Not in ASEAN. My name is Ruri, and I am the Technical Officer of Nuclear and Radiological Program Administrative Support of ASEAN Center for Energy, and I will be the moderator of today's webinar. I would like to thank all ASEAN Center for Energy team as the organizer for their effort and continuous support to conduct this webinar. And also for today's speaker, Dr. Kusnanto, Dr. Taswan Datario, and Mr. Jamal Hayat Ibrahim. And also thank you for all the participants who joined this webinar despite your very busy schedule. Yes. Yeah, a little glance about our organizations. We have 3 roles in ASEAN: energy think tank, which identifying and surfacing innovative solutions for ASEAN energy problem and give solutions, and then Energy Data and Knowledge Hub, which provide a knowledge depository for ASEAN member states and as a catalyst to unify and strengthen ASEAN energy cooperation and integrations. Yeah, and as one of our latest activity, we launched the publication called ASEAN Energy Outlook 5, or we call it IO5, which provides the comprehensive analysis and projection of ASEAN energy situation until 2040. And the publication can be accessed and downloaded through our website, ASEAN Energy website. We have conducted previous IO webinar series. The first one is the future of ASEAN for investment. The second one, the new era of gas import in ASEAN. The third one is RE incentive. What are the next steps for ASEAN? And this is the last series of IO webinar series, which is nuclear coming out to ASEAN. And nuclear is considered to be discussed here since several ASEAN member states have initiated to introduce nuclear power to their energy portfolios to address their concern about future energy security and to reach the carbon emission targets. And the nuclear energy is oftenly discussed during the ASEAN Minister Energy meeting, and they highlighted the need for continued information sharing and capacity building on civilian nuclear energy. So today we are going to discuss about the nuclear in ASEAN, and we have two speakers joining us. And for the participants, you can also join the discussion by typing your question through the chat icon from the computer, or the question icon from the computer. So yeah, without further ado, we'd like to welcome our first speaker. We have Dr. In Kusnanto. We have Dr. In Kusnanto. He received his doctoral degree from RWTH Aachen, Germany, and he has more than 20 years experience in academic and industry. And since 2016, he was appointed as the manager of ACE Canada Nuclear and Radiological Program Administrative Support. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Kusnanto to deliver his presentation. Dr. Kusnanto, thanks yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm Kusnanto. I'm from ASEAN Center for Energy. Good afternoon from Jakarta. I would like to share with you for the topic in the role of the nuclear energy for ASEAN electricity support. This topic is, I think, related to the experience of the nuclear power plant operation in the world. But I would like to start with my outline for this presentation, namely, firstly, for the nuclear energy program in ASEAN, from ASEAN countries, activities in ASEAN countries, and then secondly, regarding to the cooperation on nuclear energy, and then many activities in the capacity building by preparing of the nuclear power program in ASEAN, and then in the end, I would like to come to the conclusion. According to the experience of the operation in the nuclear power plant in the world, I think up to now there's more than 400 nuclear power plant in operation in the world, and will enhance in especially the capacity, I think, in Asia or in ASEAN countries in the future. Why? I think it's the background of the by choosing the nuclear power plant is very important thing to support our electricity in the future, because based on the experience, on the data of the operation, that nuclear power plant has highest capacity factor for the electricity supply in a country that operate this nuclear power, and then it's include in the power that stable on or regarding to the generating costs. And then the opportunity in the reduction of the capex for the costs of the generating costs for the nuclear power, nuclear electricity. There is opportunity to extend the lifetime by licensing of the nuclear regulatory body in the country. And then the other very important too is to, according to the global program by reduction of the CO2 emission in the world. Hopefully that nuclear power can produce electricity and reduce the CO2 emission in the world. But I think for the program in development of the nuclear power implementation in the countries, especially in the ASEAN countries, we have challenges. 3S, that is security, safety, and safeguard, according to the international standard, and then we should enhance our public acceptance in ASEAN, so that hopefully that in the future, if there is operation of the nuclear power plant without constraint in the long-term operation, and we should enhance the human capacity building and the organization by the operation of the nuclear power. The nuclear power program in ASEAN is part of our activities in the ASEAN Center for Energy, from 7 activities, 7 emphasizing in the program. We call here civilian nuclear energy, and we have sub-sector in the ASEAN as a network, as a cooperation body to enhance our capacity by the implementation of the nuclear power in the future in the ASEAN countries. Once again, according to the introduction by moderator, that we have IO5. In the IO5, there is a calculation, there is a prediction for the installation of nuclear power in the future. According to this study, according to this statistic in the IO5 that's launched by our executive director, Dr. Sanjayan Veltautan, that mind that in this program, there is 3 scenarios, namely business as usual, ETS, and EPS. From the 3 types of this scenario, 3 types of the prediction of the involvement, the nuclear power plant in the country, it should be about 2,000 megawatt electric installed in the year of the 2035, and probably, according to this slide, we should enhance the capacity up to 2040. The capacity can be around 2,000 up to 5,000 megawatt electric to support our electricity in the future, means up to 2040. The country that at the moment now that as a front runner in ASEAN countries, there are 5 countries that prepare to build nuclear power plant. Namely, firstly is Indonesia, secondly is Thailand, Philippines, and Vietnam. But the status of the preparation is quite different between one country to the others. The very important thing by the preparing of the nuclear power program is the NEPIO as a first program for the implementation in the country of the nuclear power for the supporting of the electricity in the country. That's, I think, according to the guidance from IAEA, so that by the country is recommended that by starting of the nuclear power plant in the country should be start from the NEPIO. That is like an institution that as a start, as a body for the starting of the nuclear power in the country. Once again, 5 countries in ASEAN: Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and Vietnam. Now in the first phase for the preparing of the nuclear power, hopefully according to the prediction in the program of the IAO 5 that launched in this ministry meeting by Dr. Sanjayan Velatam as executive director of ASEAN Center for Energy. According to this program for ASEAN Center for Energy support many activities regarding to the capacity building, workshop, and then the program for the enhancement of the public acceptance and so on in collaboration with DPs and IO, dialogue partner and international organization like Global Affairs of Canada, IAEA, ASEAN-TOM, CNEC, and others. For example, we have studied by the preparing of the and cooperation with China in the study of nuclear technology preference, and then with Canada we have cooperation in the nuclear and radiological program administrative support in the frame of our APEC program, energy cooperation program from 2016 up to 2018 according to the ASEAN Center for Energy guidelines. So many capacity building and workshop we have conducted in this year. Workshop on transport of nuclear material, emergency plan and preparedness, and then expert meeting on small modular reactor technology and licensing process. That is a kind of the new technology with very small, about 100 up to 300 megawatt electric capacity of the nuclear power by supporting from the IAEA. And then another workshop is very important that we conducted last 2 weeks in Jakarta, namely nuclear legal and regulatory framework for ASEAN, and the others we would like to conduct visiting any nuclear facilities in the frame of the enhancement of the public acceptance in the ASEAN member state. And then that is one of our activities, namely workshop on nuclear legal and regulatory framework in ASEAN. We have conducted in Jakarta with the participants from 7 ASEAN member states. The amount of the participants more than 30 person, and we invite experts that have many experience with the operation, licensing, and then industry that involved in the nuclear power development, namely from Canada, China, and best practice for the NEPIO from Malaysia, and then the support from university and from ASEAN-TOM. Namely, that is ASEAN-TOM is the organization for nuclear regulatory body in ASEAN, so that we have very close cooperation with nuclear regulatory body in ASEAN regarding to the how we can accelerate our program by the supporting of the many kind of body in the nuclear power program implementation in ASEAN. I would like to come to my end of my presentation that I think nuclear energy is in ASEAN very important to achieve the energy accessibility, affordability, and then security and sustainability in the future. Secondly, I think 5 countries that now as a front runner in the nuclear energy program development should be close cooperation so that we can accelerate the nuclear power implementation in ASEAN countries. And then third, the role of policymakers is, I think, very important. A very strong policymaker is very important to realize, to implement the nuclear power program in the future and by sustainability aspect of all the nuclear business aspect, nuclear supply and demand aspect, industry involvement, national capacity building, and so on. Last, I would like to emphasize that at the moment, I think the public acceptance, capacity building, human resource development program is still in the important by preparing in the first phase of the development, implementation of the nuclear power plant in ASEAN countries. Thank you very much for kind attention. I would like to end my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kus, for your presentations. We highlighted some points from his presentations. Among them is the brief of a global nuclear operation in the world. And then the second point about the front runner of ASEAN countries who introduced nuclear to their energy program. And also he pointed out some challenge to implement nuclear in ASEAN, and two of them are the public acceptance and human capacity building. So let's continue to our next speaker. Dr. Taswanda Taryo. He got his master degree in chemical engineering from University of New Brunswick, Canada, and PhD from University Gadjah Mada, Indonesia. His experience in nuclear energy spans for more than 30 years. His career in National Nuclear Energy Agency, or called BATAN in Indonesia, started in 1981, where he held different positions at the director level in 2005 until 2008. And before holding his current positions, he was the president commissioner of the state-owned company called PT Inki from 2011 till 2016. And today, Dr. Taryo will discuss Indonesian future plan in nuclear and its potential implementation in the ASEAN context. Dr. Taswanda Taryo, time is yours.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. For this time, I would like to talk the development of nuclear energy in Indonesia. Yeah. Before I would like to present detail, I would like to tell how about the brief history of Indonesian nuclear program. Actually, we have the idea for nuclear power plant started in the 1970s at the time. So I adopted in 1990s because of the push from the government at the time. So we have already provided 6 site candidates were chosen along the coast of Moria Peninsula. And after that, in 1991-96, also we have done the comprehensive feasibility study at Moria Peninsula by New Jack Consultant at the time. And we were very happy at the time in 1996 because the government has almost come to the decision that nuclear power plant is very important in this country. However, since the economic problem at the time, then the government left the program of nuclear power plant at the time. And finally, we revolved about the program on nuclear power plant again in the 2008 until 2010 with the survey and Batan site at the time. And like you see in our slide that continue to another site in Bangka Belitung, and we were very happy as well because we have completed for the 5 feasibility study at Bangka with collaboration in the PLN company in Indonesia. Now, the position how to build nuclear power plant in my country is really like the previous speaker mentioned, that it's really dependent on the top management decision maker. So, however, since up to now or till to date, the decision from the government hasn't yet come, and finally we came up to the idea to build small commercial nuclear power plant in order to improve our national capacity building in this country. And fortunately, in 2017, at the beginning of this year, we have site permit for RDE, what we call like experimental power reactor. So here the energy policy demand of energy growth based on the national policy on energy or based on the decree number 79 2014. Actually, based on the CAN, we call it CAN, the demand for electricity in 2025 is really up to 115 gigawatt. And so far, we're just coming to about maximum 60. So there is a difference between 2017 to 2025, which is something around about 55 gigawatt. So the question is, so how we produce the electricity, and then from where resources we can fulfill our demand for the 2025 electricity at the time. One of the things that probably one thing can be from coal, for example. Okay, coal is really number one to fulfill the electricity demand for 2025 need. And after that, probably we can come from the geothermal. We have a lot of geothermal, really, but still, so far, less than 5% realized. And also, we have to know exactly that the geothermal is a very small amount in producing electricity. But what we need for electricity in this country is really to fulfill the demand of electricity for industry. That's the bigger power of electricity are really needed for this country. And I really hope that the electricity can be coming from the key power plant. The other thing probably coming from wind, but I think wind is not good in this country because the wind in this country is not very strong. That's why so far I recommended, not because I'm from Bataan, National Atomic Energy Agency, but nuclear will be one of the electricity to be supported in the near future. So here the result of energy. So everybody need to know that the agency, university, and also PLN company, I mean government companies related to electricity has already made their energy outlook. Also mentioned by the previous speaker. For example, the PPPT mentioned that nuclear must be available in this country from 2030 to 2035. Then the Bandung Institute of Technology, which is the famous technology institute in this country, also mentioned that at least 4 gigawatt must be available in this country and starting from 2080. And PLN was successful to do the Bangka feasibility study. Of course, we collaborated with us, and nuclear is estimated even sooner in 2024, based on the democracy and autocracy of the policy. And finally, also Bataan nuclear will contribute 2027, and then with this the National Energy Chamber also mentioned that the 2025. Gajah Mada University also mentioned that the nuclear power plant is capable to meet massive energy demand in a contiguous method, because nuclear energy can support a bigger power, at least 1,000 megawatt. But for the recent technology, also nuclear power plant is ranging from 200, 150 megawatt until maybe 1,000. And also, like mentioned by a previous speaker, that the nuclear energy is also green. I mean, it's very less for the air pollution. And also, I should say also the nuclear energy will be less expensive compared to other sources such as coal and others. Here, probably like previous speaker, but I would like to tell that so far there are 448 nuclear power reactor in operation, and with the total capacity something like almost the 400,000 megawatt. And I would like to highlight as well that there are 58 nuclear power reactor under construction, and mostly in Asia, and they are coming from China. So here we go. For example, the countries considering nuclear power, as I mentioned before, the operating about 30. You can see all of North America. Uh, uh, they use the nuclear power plant. As far as I remember, America has 105, and Canada more than 30. And also here, Russia mostly using the nuclear power plant for electricity, and also the other about the for the West Europe. But for the light blue is really considering something like Africa's. And I would like to mention as well that Uni Emirate Arab and also the Saudi Arabian is really considering to build nuclear power plant. But so far, with the most front one, or most the pioneer one is really Emirate Uni Arab is constructing nuclear power plant with the power of 4,000 megawatt, and also expressing interest given by the countries which are mentioned in my presentation, mostly coming from the Africa. So people is really worried about the technology itself. So probably, I think everybody remember about the 3 Mile Island accident occurred in 1979 at the time, then followed by the Chernobyl accident in 1986, and the last one, Fukushima accident in 2011. But I would like to highlight that the technology used at the time is only for generation 2. I mean, less than generation 3. So for all the reactors now are in operating is mostly about generation 3, and maybe in about 10 years generation 3 plus will be coming in this world. So that's why I would like to highlight that nobody needs to worry about that, because technology of nuclear power plant is changing all the time and better all the time, and have improvement time by time. So if we talk about the economy of nuclear power plant compared to how about North America, Europe, and Asia, and Middle East also, so we can see that Asia is the lowest, because due to the lower cost for labor and labor wages, and also multi-bills. So as I mentioned that until 2030, the People Republic of China are building something like about 30 gigawatt. So it is very huge if compared to other countries, because now China is the number one in the world who are building the nuclear power plant. For example, like we can see the cost of nuclear power plant in China is something like $2,500 per kilowatt, compared to Europe about 5,500, and also US still 10% lower than EU. The NPV generation cost, you can see also based on the slide I mentioned before, still the China is really by the lowest one. So really, when we had a meeting in all of the countries, so International Atomic Energy Agency suggested if one country would like to build the nuclear power plant, so we have to think, we have to consider, and we have to maximize the participation of local company. It is very important. I think everybody, every countries in ASEAN agree that local content must be maximized, because the more local content participated, so I think the price of electricity, or maybe the cost for the NPP contraction, will be less as well. So, for example, I will give you I give you our experience in 1980 when Indonesia or Bataan were constructed about the multi-purpose reactor and supporting laboratories in our facility in Pusip Serpong. So we can see at the final, when we consider about civil construction infrastructure, equipment, and also engineering supervision. So local content achieved to 35.7%. It is very important, and I'm very sure because civil construction, which really can be made by our country, and also for electrical, mechanical, instrumentation by non-safety related equipment can be supported by local engineering companies. For example, here. So this is the national manufacturing industry. This is the current photos I would like to mention everybody here, that the even like turbine, big turbine with the capacity of 1,000 megawatt, even more, and also about the casing of the pressure vessel, which is really neat in our nuclear power plant, or maybe stationary blade ring and condenser as well, are all of them can be manufactured in Indonesia. I mean, here in PT Cement Company, and also national manufacturing industry as well. So I'm very sure, as I mentioned before, that electrical, mechanical, instrumentation, and control, not safety related, can be supported by local engineering companies. So NPP site. So really, here if everybody asks me how about the nuclear site in Indonesia, we have already done the NPP site. The NPP site in Bangka is very ready to be constructed by nuclear companies. The other probably something like here West Kalimantan and also East Kalimantan, also Tapak Muria and Central of Java. So somebody asked me about how about the survey, how about the people in Indonesia agree or not agree with nuclear power plant. I think I'm not worried about it because starting from 2011, we made a survey in 2011 about 49.5%. We understood why it is very low because Fukushima accident occurred at the time. However, and we are luckily that in 2012, so it increased until 52.9 to 1360.4, and finally in 2016, so the poll survey is something like 77.53. I didn't believe at all when the first time I see that, but it is the fact that the mostly people agree that the nuclear power plant must be available in this country. So here we go. For example, the survey coming to 4,000 respondents, 51% for gentlemen and 49 women. And when so many questions you can see here, but finally, when the question, do you agree on Indonesia building NP to meet electricity demand? So finally, the answer 77.5 agree that nuclear power plant must be available in the country. Okay, well, one of the things is very important. Also, we have to improve to the national capacity building. Therefore, Batam right now, because the position policy for the nuclear power plant construction is not coming yet today, so we are now designing about the high temperature gas reactor with the power of 10 megawatt thermal, and this reactor will be for electricity and also cogeneration lab. So this is the project status, site evaluation. We have already site permit, project activities, and also the pre-project. We are designing by ourselves about the basic design of the RDE, and also the AMDAL itself and EPC preparation. I really hope the construction will be started in the middle of 2018 or maybe the beginning of 2019. So this is our system. We are designing for Indonesia and also the eastern part of Indonesia. This can be the power of something like 50 megawatt electric until 150. So it is very useful for our country. And our vision in the experimental power reactor is really for the can be used for smeltering, hydrogen production, which really need by industry. Seawater desalination, which is the eastern part of Indonesia, we have the scarce of water. That's why this kind of the reactor can be very suitable if we construct all of this in the eastern part of Indonesia. So finally, I really hope that Indonesia will be a technology provider, especially for the high temperature gas reactor, maybe in 15, 25, 20 years from now. Now, so I have already talked a lot. Finally, we are coming to the conclusion. And Indonesia has planned for nuclear power plant construction. As I mentioned before, we started to dream about nuclear power plant in 1970s at the time. And follow nuclear power plant are positive. You see that almost 78% in Indonesia agree that nuclear power plant must be available in this country, and also nuclear development infrastructure is ready. Like I mentioned, the site in Bangka Belitung is ready to be fulfilled by nuclear power plant with the amount of something like 6,000 megawatt electric. And to improve our national capacity building, the RDE, or experimental power reactor, is stepping stone for Indonesia to become nuclear energy provider, as well as mean to maintain competence of human resource in the field of nuclear energy. Thorium, and many people talk about it, so we agree about thorium power, but for the nuclear cycle is very important for the future in order to complement the fuel need for nuclear power plant. Finally, for nuclear energy independent, nuclear human resource investment research technology are very needed, and I do believe that Indonesia will be one of the Asian countries for the first time to build nuclear power plant in this ASEAN or in Indonesia. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kasudatari, for your very interesting presentations. Here we get highlighted some points that you mentioned. First about the and among others are the national participation in the past nuclear project in Indonesia, and then second one about the RDE updates on designing and its reconstruction process. So yeah, and for the next speaker, we invite Mr. Jamal Khair Ibrahim, and he obtained his Master of Science degree from University of London in Nuclear Reactor Science and Engineering, and previously he's Director of Planning and International Relations Divisions at the Malaysian Nuclear Agency, and with experience in the installation, commissioning, operation, maintenance, and management of the nuclear research reactor. He supported the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in multilateral and bilateral nuclear techno-political matters. And Mr. Ibrahim will discuss Malaysian future plan in nuclear and its potential implementation in the ASEAN context. So without further ado, let's welcome our last speaker today, Mr. Jamal Khair Ibrahim, to deliver his presentations. Please, Mr. Jamal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Jamal Khair Ibrahim. So I will cover initially on ASEAN as well before I go to the situation in Malaysia. So just to look at ASEAN as overall, this is the member state profile, comparison of member state profile of ASEAN countries. The point I would like to highlight here is the gross national income, GNI or GDP, and the installed capacity. So I think the important thing important point to consider is that is the cost of the nuclear power project in relation to the GNI or GDP. If the cost of the nuclear power plant power project is too high a proportion of the GNI, so anything that goes wrong with the project in terms of delay and so on, in terms of cost overrun, might affect the financial situation of the country as a whole. The other point that needs to be considered is the electricity generating capacity of the proposed nuclear power plant compared to the national installed capacity, electricity generating capacity or grid size. Normally, as a rule of thumb, the size of the nuclear power plant or any power plant shouldn't be more than 1/10 or 10% the size of the grid side of the national grid. This is to ensure grid system stability and power supply stability and so on. So, of the 10 member states of ASEAN, those that have expressed interest in nuclear power, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam, and also Singapore at one point. At the situation, so basically, from the point of GNI and installed capacity in Vietnam won't have problem, Thailand as well, and Philippines, the problem there is the land, so that will limit the options for nuclear power plant site. Trying to find a suitable site in Singapore might be a real challenge. And if you look at the region as a whole, given the ring of fire around the South Asia, you see the dots there, those are the previous epicenters of earthquakes. It covers most of Indonesia and Philippines. So those areas be challenge to look for nuclear power plant sites in these areas, but as the that you mentioned, the bunker is actually somewhere here, which is a bit out of the real challenge. Seismic zone on, because I think that on for ASEAN, completed in 1980. There was some talk, was some interest but building and utilization project has been made under
Mr. Jama, can you check your system? Can you check your system? We cannot hear you clearly here. Mr. Jama, can you check your system first? Because we cannot hear you clearly here.
Initially for presentation is now included two initially they plan projects and one with 2 times 100 megawatt and hello. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes,
okay.
You can continue.
Okay. Do I have to repeat certain part? Or you want me to continue or to go back to the part that you didn't hear me?
Just continue your presentation. Or maybe you can repeat
okay, so
one of the slides. Okay. Yes, maybe you can start from.
Okay.
Yeah, you can start from ASEAN, from Philippines. Yes, you can start from. Yes, you can continue your presentation, Mr. Jama.
From Philippines, okay.
You can skip the presentation, maybe.
from the comparison from the beginning. Oh, yeah, all right. As the sorry. Next one. Yeah. Which yeah, so if you look the thing for the problem in ASEAN, we still have to consider the effect of the earthquake coming from the Ring of Fire, especially from Sumatra, on potential nuclear power plant site. And also this will give a challenge in terms of seismology studies, volcanology, and also tsunami in the site selection. And then okay, I'll skip this part about Indonesia because this was already covered by Dr. Dario. On Philippines, they had completed a 630 megawatt plant in 1984. Was never operated. And since 2007, there was a renewed interest to revive the Bataan nuclear power plant. the mothball nuclear plant, and also to consider building a new 1,000 megawatt Korean standard nuclear plant using equipment from the aborted North Korean project under the Korean Energy Development Organization, because the project in North Korea didn't go ahead, and the equipment is still there. But there's still no decision by Philippines on the nuclear power project. For Thailand, they included the nuclear power plant in their power development plan for 2010-2030 with 5,000 megawatt, 5 units of 1,000 megawatt to be commissioned from 2020 to 28. They've done the feasibility study, submitting, but the subsequent power development plan 2015 included 2 times 1,000 megawatt nuclear plant to be commissioned in 2035 and 2036. But also, there's no decision on nuclear power project by Thailand. For Vietnam, initially they planned the Ninh Thuan project, two stations. The first one, Ninh Thuan 1, 2 times 1,200 megawatt for commissioning in 28 and 29, and Ninh Thuan 2 for 2 times 1,100 megawatt for commissioning in 2029 and 2030 to be built by Japan. Ninh Thuan 1 was supposed to be built by the Russians, but the National Assembly abandoned the whole project in November 2016 due to lower electricity demand forecast, rising costs, and safety concerns. For Malaysia, initially we considered nuclear power in the late 70s and the early 80s until we discovered natural gas deposits of the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. So after that, there was not much interest on nuclear power until around 2006 when there's a renewed interest. So that led to the Prime Minister, who was also Minister of Finance, to mention in his budget speech for 2009, made in August 2008, for us to explore nuclear energy and to formulate new energy policy. And in June 2010, the new National Energy Policy was incorporated in the Malaysia Plan for 2011 to 2015, and it was tabled in Parliament and included nuclear energy as a long-term option for the peninsula. And then in October 2010, we formulated the Economic Transfer Program. It covers 12 National Key Economic Areas, or NKEA. One of that is oil, gas, and energy, or OGE. So under the OGE NKEA, nuclear power is included as one of the entry point project. Initially with a target of commissioning the first unit in 2021, but now that is no longer possible. Initially, mainly because of the situation after Fukushima accident. I mean, the public sentiment after Fukushima accident. But because based on the Economic Transfer Program, in January 2011, the Malaysian Nuclear Power Corporation, where I'm from, was incorporated as a company under the Prime Minister's Government to act as the Nuclear Energy Program Implementing Organization. So, or NEPO, this NEPO is based on the milestones approach of the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA. So, if you look at the map of Malaysia here, you can see that for Peninsular Malaysia, there's 40% of the land area, 80% of the population, but 90% of the electricity demand, compared to Sabah Sarawak on the Borneo Island, 60% of land area, 20% of population, but only 10% of electricity demand. So because of that, nuclear power is only considered for the peninsula. So based on that, MNPC have, as the NEPO, we have done basically the legal regulatory development, drafting a comprehensive nuclear law. This is to replace the current law and to set up a new regulatory commission, formulate a nuclear power regulatory infrastructure development plan, drafting of regulations and guidelines, identifying international treaties and conventions to be party to, and so on. Then we also did the program and the project development studies to formulate a nuclear power infrastructure development plan, self-assessment of 19 issues based on the recommendation, feasibility study, including technology assessment, financial assessment, economic studies, and to formulate the generic bid documents and methodology. And we also did a qualitative and quantitative public opinion research and formulation of a comprehensive communication plan and strategies on nuclear energy. And this is my last slide. So currently under the 11th Malaysia Plan from 2016 to 2020, the focus is on public engagement, enactment of a new comprehensive nuclear law and establishment of new economic energy regulatory commission based on the work that we have done under the 10th Malaysia Plan. And besides that, we will also be implementing the nuclear power regulatory infrastructure development plan and the nuclear power infrastructure development plan and the communication plan, which were also formulated under the 10th Malaysia Plan. But still, we don't have any decision on nuclear power project, just like other ASEAN member states. So, in summary, basically, none of the ASEAN member states have made any decision on nuclear power project, actual decision to implement. It will probably be some years before any of the ASEAN member states to make a real investment decision on the nuclear power project. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jamal Hari Ibrahim, for your very interesting presentations. We can highlight some points that he mentions about the updates and the potential of nuclear development in ASEAN, and also he mentioned about the Malaysian plan in developing nuclear energy in the future. So yeah, we will pursue to our discussion sessions. Since we only have 5 minutes left, maybe I will choose two or three questions from the audience. Yeah, oh, we have so many questions here. Wait, let me choose some of the questions. Okay, maybe the question will address to Dr. Taswan Batari. It's about what's your opinion on developing nuclear energy in eastern part of Indonesia, since the Java and the western part of Indonesia is all the ratio of electricity is quite high. So so yeah, his opinion is, what if the nuclear will be developed in the eastern part of Indonesia? Maybe you can address that question, Dr. Tasman.
Okay, well, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Actually, as I
Yes.
mentioned before, that we would like to be public support friendly. Like I mentioned, the power is coming from chemical reactors, the electricity is not as speedy as
Dr. Tasman, we cannot hear your voices. Can you close your mic closer to your speaker?
Please clear now.
Yes, yeah, you can listen now.
Okay.
Yes. It's
Okay,
louder.
well,
Speak louder.
actually, we have made what we call like Indonesian nuclear energy outlook. So for the other side, for the western part of Indonesia, it is very suitable for nuclear power plant with the bigger power, something like 1,000 megawatt and more is better. But for the eastern part of Indonesia, we have already made the scenario that with the power of something like 50 megawatt, 100 megawatt, or 100 megawatt will be very suitable for them because of the less depletion, the less use of the electricity and less from the energy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Hello. Yeah, I think hello is
Yeah. Good answer. And yeah, this question, I guess, will be addressed to all the panelists today. It's about the safety of the nuclear power plant. How to ensure the safety so people are more comfortable, or people will accept the nuclear technology. Maybe I will go first to Dr. Kusnanto to address that question to ensure the safety. Maybe you can highlight some of your thoughts.
Okay, once again, thank you very much for the question. I think regarding to the safety, the first important thing for the nuclear power plant building, we should choose the most modern technology, like the statement of Dr. Taswanda Taryo, that up to now there is only second generation of the third generation of the nuclear power plant, but after that generation, I think the enhancement of the safety for the nuclear power plant, according to the development of the supercomputer and then technology of the instrumentation and so on, is give more warranty for the safety aspect. So that I think the new generation of the nuclear power plant now, based on the newest technology that enhance the safety. I'm sure that all of the industry, all of the vendor of the nuclear power plant based on the safety design of the for the next nuclear power plant. So I'm sure that with or by using this new technology will increase the safety in operation of the nuclear power plant.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kusanto, for your opinion. Maybe Mr. Jamal, can you give some opinion about it as well to ensure the safety? I mean, to ensure the public acceptance on nuclear technology.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 5 points. Firstly, the starting point is that you have to be very objective in choosing the site for the nuclear power plant. You need to get a lot of data. Some data you might go back. You need data that goes back 100 years, for example, seismic data or tsunami data and so on, meteorology data. And then the second point is you have to ensure that the technology is good, the engineering, construction, including the supervision and so on. Documentation, everything in proper order. The third point is that you need to have a good work culture, safety culture, and initially during construction, maybe it's a bit easier to do that, but once the plant is in operation, you have to make sure that the complacency doesn't seep in. So you have to maintain high standards all the time throughout the life of the plant. And I think the most important point is that you need to have a very strong, independent nuclear regulator to make sure that everything is done properly. And the last point is that there need to be some public involvement in the ensuring the safety of plants. Like in many Western countries or advanced countries, they have the involvement of the local population in the oversight of the plant, or at least in engagement, regular consultation with between the local community and the power plant owner operator to assure the public of how they ensure safety. Those are my points. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jamal. So I think we run out of time today. So I think I will conclude our webinar today. Yes, nuclear is still a long way to be in ASEAN. Even though some countries they try to embark their nuclear power program, but yeah, there are some obstacles that that challenge them. One of them is about the public acceptance and also the financing financing problem. Yes, and as I mentioned before, the ASEAN Energy Outlook, the IO5, can be downloaded from our website, aseanenergy.org. And also, if you want to look up our updates or any activity that ASEAN Center for Energy conducted, you can follow our Twitter and also like our Facebook. And again, I would like to say thanks to our speakers today, Dr. Kusnanto, Dr. Kaswanda, and Mr. Jamal Khair Ibrahim. And thank you to all organizers today, and also thanks to all the attendees and participants who attend this webinar today. And see you in the next webinar series of ASEAN Center for Energy. Thank you, and see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and see you.